You see on the last play from Caitlin, and then on top of that, what do you think of your team's late game execution?
I thought she got fouled. I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. A minus 31 free throw discrepancy. And I might be able to understand it if we were just chucking threes, but we're not. We're attacking the...
Stephanie White just stepped onto the court, and she didn't hold back, lighting up the refs as if they forgot how to read the rule book. After weeks of Caitlin Clark taking brutal fouls and getting no calls, the Fever coach finally said enough is enough. If you thought coaches only earned technicals, think again. White brought the heat with her fiery critique. Now, the WNBA's usual punching bag might actually see some fair calls. Buckle up. This could be the start of a new era where accountability takes center stage. The Fever just forced the refs into a full corner press of scrutiny and change.
This don't make no sense, man. This don't make no sense. I think Stephanie White has had enough of all the bullshit going on in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark being hurt, yeah, she might be hurt, but I don't believe it's to the magnitude of what people saying. I think this is a message they sending out that we've done taking all this roughhousing and no fouls and all this BS and ain't getting no foul call.
Stephanie White finally voiced what every Caitlin Clark fan, casual viewer, and even a semi-conscious squirrel has suspected. The WNBA referees aren't officiating basketball. They're refereeing a gladiator arena, only blowing their whistles when Clark exhales too loudly. The Indiana Fever could toss out their playbook and substitute a set of boxing gloves, and nobody would blink. What's unfolding on that court isn't defense, it's outright assault, bare-knuckle brawling with the officials turning a blind eye. The game's no longer about basketball, it's become a chaotic melee, all under the guise of regulation.
So as you can see after the game, Caitlin Clark and Sophie are both running up to the referee here. They are both so upset, and the referee is just walking away from them. He won't even look at them in the face. He keeps turning, like Sophie even went up at one point and is like tapping on his arm. He would not even look at them. You guys, I have watched so much basketball in my lifetime, so much NBA, so much professional basketball. It's comical at times when you see the players after the games talking to the refs, because a lot of them end up knowing each other at a certain point because they've reffed their game so many times. The fact that this referee wouldn't even acknowledge the players was kind of crazy to me. Like when I saw that, I said, this is really strange, because the referee should have enough confidence in the calls that they made to at least discuss. You should be able to at least discuss something with the players, because a lot of times players will go up and be like, why did you call that? What did you see? What was going on? And there's a back and forth that's happening. This guy's literally running away from them.
Let's be honest, these aren't fouls. They're daylight muggings, with 15,000 witnesses, a camera crew, and ESPN broadcasting live. In just one Fever possession, there's more contact than in your last 10 family reunions. And the referees? They're watching like they're high on Ambien, letting it all slide without a hint of concern. There's no pretense of fairness or objectivity, just raw, unapologetic bias on full display. The game has lost its integrity, replaced by chaos and constant foul calls that seem more about controlling the spectacle than officiating basketball. It's blatant, unfiltered bias, and everyone can see it.
But if anything, this should be a lesson to the league and a lesson to the officiating, because the amount of contact that is allowed without a foul call and the amount of physicality that Caitlin Clark has to battle through being double teamed and triple teamed, and honestly, it's mostly just not being called for these fouls, needs to be assessed. Caitlin Clark is the league's star player, whether you like it or not. It shows in the bottom line, it shows in the revenue, it shows in the viewership numbers. Every which way you turn, it shows.
The league claims it wants growth, higher ratings, and respect. Yet it allows Caitlin Clark, arguably the most marketable rookie since LeBron James, to be physically assaulted by players who treat defense like a WWE audition. The WNBA's response? A shrug, a vague feminist tweet, and the continuation of chaos on the court. Meanwhile, officials seem to be watching a different game entirely, because it sure as hell isn't basketball. Clark gets clotheslined heading to the basket, and the referee stares blankly, like a deer caught in LED headlights. That's not just bad officiating, that's outright negligence. If knives aren't allowed on the court, why are Carrington's claws, resembling Freddy Krueger's, permitted near players? Some players walk around with talons sharp enough to carve initials into hardwood, and no one seems to care. It's as if we're watching Hunger Games courtside edition. Carrington's foul wasn't just hard, it was a felony, met with crowd approval. Yet the WNBA is too busy tweeting empowerment slogans and posting IG reels about sisterhood to notice their star is being body-checked like she owes money. No fines, no ejections, no accountability. Just silence from league officials and vague statements about letting players play. But what they're really allowing is pummeling. This isn't basketball, it's chaos masked as sport, and the league's complacency is criminal. Fans deserve better, players deserve protection, and most of all, the game deserves integrity, not a spectacle of violence and neglect.
All right, now this is what I'm going to say about this situation. Is the Fever players, you got to know, this is how they're going to ref your games. They're going to let Caitlin Clark be held, be hand-checked, have her arm chopped, and they're barely going to call fouls. Because of players are going to get away with what they get away with. If you allow a player to foul a player all game long, guess what? They're going to foul them all game long.
Meanwhile, Stephanie White is out here calling out the league and its refs like she's had enough of babysitting chaos. Can you blame her? She's trying to coach basketball, not navigate a minefield of unchecked violence, while referees seem more interested in avoiding accountability. She's not just coaching a team, she's managing trauma in real time. The league lacks structure, and without it, corruption festers like mold in a forgotten lunch. Every bad call, or worse, no call, is a seed of doubt, whispering in the back of fans' minds. Is this incompetence? Or is someone ensuring the pretty white girl doesn't shine too brightly, too quickly? If Caitlin Clark played for the Las Vegas Aces, pulling in that level of cash and coverage, would she be getting tackled in transition and sent home with an ice pack and a "keep going, Queen" tweet? It's not just rough play, it's targeted, intentional, and driven by inconsistency. The officials' performative indifference suggests they'd rather be anywhere else. This isn't a learning curve, it's an execution. Such blatant neglect makes fans question whether they should invest emotionally, financially, or even with their eyes. If the league won't protect its stars, the product suffers, and the league's credibility takes a hit every time they look the other way. Fans deserve better, players do too.
Now that right there is Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, that's her. Out there on the basketball court, chilling, out there shooting jumpers. Y'all see that? Her jumper look wet too. Now you supposed to be hurt and chilling with your leg up, feet up. You out here shooting jumpers. So what that lead me to believe is that her injury can't be too like, is it that bad? They say it's a grade 1. Okay, cool. Even if it's a grade 1, would you be out there shooting jumpers? Caitlin Clark is at the practice arena shooting 3-pointers. This might just be a message that Stephanie is like, you know what? Y'all ain't gonna do nothing. Y'all ain't gonna fix this. Y'all gonna keep letting my player get hound. Okay, cool. I'm gonna hit you where it hurt. I'm gonna hit y'all in your pockets.
Now there are serious talks about whether Clark should just sit out the season altogether, wrap her knees, sip a fine European espresso, and head to France to score 40 points a night while earning triple the pay and gaining exponentially more respect. Because overseas, basketball stars are valued as assets, not targets for abuse. They don't get brutalized every quarter while the league's commissioner snaps photos with a commemorative t-shirt. Kathy Engelbert must be held accountable, not just for better decisions, but for why she's still employed after repeatedly allowing this chaos to unfold. Her job is simple: grow the league. Not exponentially, just protect the talent enough that fans don't start viewing the product as a joke, with injury reports as punchlines. She doesn't need to reinvent the wheel. She just needs to call fouls when players get drop-kicked into stanchions. Protecting players and maintaining integrity should be the league's priorities, not standing idly by while stars are treated like punching bags.
And as the league's star player, she should not be bullied around or ragdolled, just pushed around like she is. There is an undeniable disparity in the officiating. I mean, think about the Kobe whistle in the NBA. No one touched him without an issue. I remember Draymond Green saying if anything happened to Steph, Draymond Green would get up in a player's face. That's not to say that there shouldn't be fairness in the officiating. Yes, Caitlin Clark should be called for fouls, but the fairness is what is being disputed here, in that she is being pushed around and not being calling, and that only hurts the league. It only hurts the eyes on the league because she is the star player. Like in the Atlanta game, it almost seemed like the strategy was to just like hack them and like kind of get up in Caitlin Clark's face by like all the hand checks and things that just were not called. So hopefully this is a wake-up call to the league.
Kathy's actions seem to treat Clark's body as if it's disposable, all for some warped idea of achieving parity. But what's really happening isn't parity, it's sabotage. When your most visible, influential, and impactful player is being used as a punching bag, that's not fostering growth. That's actively damaging the league's reputation. Without star power, the league risks becoming nothing more than a niche hobby, with impressive cardio but little mainstream appeal. So what steps is the league taking to hold referees accountable? Are there reviews, suspensions, fines? Or is it just a cycle of mediocrity where no one gets fired because everyone's failing together? The officiating calls for outside investigation, not just internal reviews or league oversight. If you wouldn't let a surgeon operate blindfolded, why are officials overseeing high-stakes games as if they're choosing calls at random, like with a magic 8-ball? Clark isn't asking for preferential treatment. She's asking not to be physically mutilated on national television. She simply wants officiating standards to be applied equally, and that's clearly too much in a league that seems to prioritize optics and vibes over justice and consistency. The league isn't unaware of these issues, it chooses to ignore them. That indifference is slowly eroding its credibility from the inside out, undermining the sport's integrity and future.
Start off by sharing that the officiating in the WNBA became as hot button of an issue as any. Heated debates surrounding the league's physicality dominated the headlines, particularly when Indiana Fever star rookie Caitlin Clark was subject to several intentional fouls.
Fans see it, coaches see it, players, especially those with any sense of dignity, see it. The only ones remaining oblivious are the officials with whistles and authority. It seems that once you're certified as a WNBA referee, your main role is to see how much physicality players can endure before they break. If Chelsea Gray's face gets elbowed again without a call, don't be surprised if the next Indiana Fever game turns into an actual MMA match. It's time to stop pretending these officials are truly officiating. Instead, they appear to be enabling chaos with a smile. They're complicit in the injuries, frustration, and the eroding trust from fans who tuned in for top-tier basketball, not a rerun of 1990s hockey. And then there's Carrington. Her highlight this season has been her uncanny ability to deliver shoulder checks with pinpoint accuracy, like a heat-seeking missile aimed at slowing down players like Clark. If her goal was to serve as a physical deterrent, mission accomplished. But if she's meant to represent the league's future, that's concerning. Because if the WNBA aims to grow and elevate its reputation, it can't allow enforcers to maul its star players. The league must prioritize safety and fairness over chaos. Otherwise, it risks losing both players' well-being and the fans' trust.
So, lads, today we're going to be talking a little bit about the old New York-Indiana game, which was one of the weirdest... Like, I'm not even going to say it was badly refereed until down the stretch, but it was one of the worst refereed games. It was one of the worst refereed games I've seen. But, in a long, long time.
Carrington needs to be suspended. No, outright expelled. Let's make an example out of her. Show the world that this isn't Fight Club, and that violence isn't a legitimate strategy. Send a clear message. If you can't defend yourself without resorting to bloodshed, maybe you should consider a different career. Something less physical. Like MMA. The WNBA has never enjoyed more attention than it does now, yet somehow it's managed to mishandle that spotlight so badly it ricocheted into the stands and took out a popcorn vendor. Fans want to see exciting basketball, not their favorite players battered like piñatas with each possession. This isn't just about Clark. It's about what it signals to every young girl watching, that even when you're the best, when you've earned your spot and you've dedicated your life to excellence, The league must take a stand, protect its players, and preserve the integrity of the game before more fans turn away in disgust.
I'm going to talk about this play. The person who really should get all the blame is Kathy Engelberg. Yes, this is Kathy Engelberg's doing. You know why? Because she has incompetent referees.
If this violence continues, Caitlin Clark should seriously consider sitting out games, not just to send a message, but to protect herself. She should prioritize collecting her paycheck, safeguarding her knees, and avoiding the humiliation of being treated like a crash test dummy every night. Right now, the court feels less like a competitive arena and more like a war zone, with referees standing by as if they're watching a street fight they refuse to stop. Clark isn't a rookie experiencing a welcome to the league rough patch. She's a once-in-a-generation talent being flattened under the rim while officials turn a blind eye, swallowing their whistles as if it's part of their uniform. She owes nothing, let's be clear, nothing to a league that refuses to protect its stars from outright assault. There's no rite of passage that involves concussions or flagrant fouls being dismissed as play-on. The WNBA should be rolling out red carpets and bubble wrap for Clark, not allowing her to become a punching bag for bitter veterans or insecure opponents looking to make a statement. There's a stark difference between earning your place and being used as a punching bag with a ponytail. The league needs to step up before more players get hurt or lose faith in the game's integrity.
I'm really convinced at this point that all the girls in the WNBA hate Caitlin Clark. She's filling seats. This is a time for y'all to be shining. Instead of fighting the young lady, shine. Go out on the court, show what you made of. But no, you know what they decide to do? They get angry. Brittany Griner made a comment talking about every time she comes around and plays them, she hears a rumbling in the stands. She couldn't understand. She didn't really understand it was people up there. Yes, because they want to pay to see basketball and not politics. Leave the race out of it. God damn, why we have to make everything so goddamn...
To the referees, this isn't just about a few missed calls. Everyone makes mistakes, but this is different. This is systemic, routine, and a blatant display of eyes wide shut officiating on a national stage. It's as if you're rehearsing for a Cirque du Flagrant act instead of calling a game. It's not just poor officiating, it's a full-blown abdication of responsibility. It's malpractice. A dereliction of duty that's laughable only because it's so dangerous. Every no call when Caitlin Clark gets smashed with a forearm, every blind eye turned as she's hacked on her way to the basket, it's not incompetence anymore, it's complicity. You're not neutral observers, you're enablers. By not calling the game by the rules, you're sending a message to every young player with talent and heart. Play your game, but don't expect protection, don't expect fairness, and definitely don't expect us to care. You're failing in your duty to protect the players and uphold the integrity of the game. Either start calling the game fairly or step aside and let someone with better vision and a grasp of basic fairness take over. The current display is an embarrassment to the league and a disservice to the players who risk their health and well-being every time they step onto the court.
But what's being done to her right now is an absolute shame. She is by far the most important, most popular person the WNBA has ever seen in its history. And yet she's getting treated like crap every time.
The numbers speak volumes. Caitlin Clark is the primary reason casual fans are tuning into the league. She's the magnet, the spark that could finally ignite renewed interest in the WNBA. And how does the league choose to reward her? By allowing her to get blindsided while referees act as if they're playing hide and seek instead of officiating? Do you truly believe that the future of the league is best served by turning its most marketable star into a cautionary tale? Because if that's the approach, it's already working. Fans are noticing, and they're furious. They see the bias, the unfair treatment, and the blatant refusal to call a fair game. If Clark eventually decides, enough, I'm out, don't act surprised or act like you didn't see it coming. You've written this script. The league's leadership needs to take responsibility. Instead of growing the game, you're fueling resentment. Instead of cultivating basketball greatness, you're stumbling face first into a brick wall of indifference and jealousy. This isn't tough basketball. It's a demolition derby in sneakers. If the league's top brass don't wake up and address these issues, you risk losing more than credibility. You risk losing the stars who keep this league alive. It's time to fix it. Protect your talent, call the game fairly, or watch everything you've built crumble into dust. If you enjoyed leaving a like and subscribing, more videos are on the screen now.